For the people live, could you just let me know that you can see the presentation screen? If you could just pop a yes in the chat, that would be awesome. I appreciate that. Thank you. Meanwhile, a really warm welcome to everyone. As I said, if you're watching the replay, thank you very much for letting me know everything is in order. If you're watching the replay, please drop any questions below the screen and we will be sure to answer them. So we've been talking about the 4 Ps, and which is product, price, place, and promotion. So place is really important. Now, what does this mean? It means where we have our products or services seen. Now, while we'll be looking at a lot of online placement, there are other places that you place your products, and it's really, really important. So welcome to the live session. And as I say, if you're joining us live and you have questions, please do pop them in the chat or in the Q&A. So the 4 Ps of marketing: place. So grab your notebooks, grab your coffee, and let's get going. Now, last week I was talking about Facebook, and I just want to remind everyone, and this is not a webinar about Facebook, let me tell you, it is about a lot of different places. So a lot of people are logging into social media, but they're using other platforms. So what we have to consider, of course, is where our avatar is. Where do they hang out? Where can we reach them? And frankly, it may not be on social media. It does depend what your business is. So I put down here, let's look at very different avatars. We've got a 90-year-old. I picked that figure out because my mum is 93, and clearly, well, not necessarily, but she doesn't use social media. And if I've got a product or service that's aimed at my mum, she's and her age group, she's not going to find it on social media in all likelihood. I know there's some amazing people who are using the social media platforms, but we can see, you know, without joking apart, that a 90-year-old young parents and teens have very different places that they where we find them, literally different places. So it might be online places and it might be physical places when our world is back to the normal or the new normal. And it depends if your product is for that particular avatar. Now, side note about avatars, I think the people on this webinar live will know about their avatar. An avatar is your ideal customer. We are never selling to all the people all the time. It may be that people from a whole range will want our product, but we are talking and aiming at one particular person. So clearly a teen, I guess they're on Instagram, on Snapchat. Young parents will probably be, it seems that they're using Facebook more, and they may also be overlapping on those other platforms. But then if you go dive a bit deeper, any of these who are business owners, and I've actually seen some teens who are awesome business owners, it's amazing what young people can do, they may also be on LinkedIn. So you don't confuse yourself where a few members of your avatar group might be. Look at where most of them are. Okie dokie, I'm going to take myself off the screen as we go to the next slide. So this is the busiest slide I've got. I'm breaking all my rules, which is don't put too much on a slide. The rule is eight words, isn't it? But anyway, forgive me for that. So we've got different platforms. We've got LinkedIn, IG, Instagram, and then even if you're on Facebook, as most people probably listening to this webinar will be, we've got groups, we've got personal profile, and we've got the page. So within platforms, there are different areas to look at. MeWe is the new platform. Now, I am not for 1 minute suggesting that people should be on all different platforms, but I would check this one out because this is new and upcoming, and it will grow because it's offering a lot of things that other platforms don't offer. So MeWe.com, go and have a look for yourself, just a little bonus information there. Twitter, and then I thought, well, what are the other methods? Because these are the very traditional ways, these are the social media ways, but people might be using WhatsApp, messaging, phone, and absolutely email, which we'll come to later. So it may be that your avatar is using phone messaging, and that's the way that they will, you'll be able to find them. It may be that you would be sending information to them via a phone message. We really have to consider how and where our avatar is. So This is, I've quoted from our page, our group, the Online Entrepreneur Academy. As Aldine had added some very interesting points. And I have got a notice on my screen that is in the way of the words here. Ooh, I think I've just messed up my screen share. I have to go back there. Right, sorry about that. But you need to understand where your audience spends the time to identify marketing messages and sub-niches that you can position yourself in. So have a look at what is said here. And if you can no longer see the presentation, please let me know, won't you? Don't want to be talking to my my empty black screen. So for example, here we are. Aldine said my avatar uses Google to buy. So thank you very much. Thanks, Amanda. So your avatar may be buying on Google. They may be buying an Etsy. Where do they go to buy things? If it's more niche, they may not be looking at Google at all to buy. They might be going to Amazon. They might be going to niche book clubs and companies. So just think about where your avatar buys. So here in this example, we see the avatar, this particular avatar uses Google, hangs out on Facebook and Pinterest to visualize and step into their want to have state of mind. So if you have more of a luxury or extra item, extra to needs, and it's a want rather than a need, then you may find that you're looking at Instagram or Pinterest. I hope this is making sense. So it's where your avatar is and why they're there. So if we, as it says here, if we understand this, we can look at contents for different reasons. Now, my avatar, most of my avatars are not on Instagram for business. They're on Instagram to look at beautiful pictures, and recognizing this, and I'll have to constantly check. So, but as another example, I understand that they're not buying through Instagram. That's not where my avatar buys. So my Instagram account is, I hope, what we consider beautiful pictures of nature and the fresh air. So I'm getting my avatar there will get to know, like, and trust me because they see me turning up, and that is, and I'm presenting lovely pictures to them, but I'm not making offers there. That's not where they're going to buy. So that's not my main channel for selling, to put it as it is. Okay, let's go to the next area. So the other point to consider, and obviously there are so many things that we can look at, and in 30 minutes we're not looking at every aspect of place because whole textbooks have been written about this, but is why are they there? So think about, are they in the place to learn? I indicated this with reference to my own Instagram account, to be entertained or even perhaps to win. You know, is it a place where they would be looking at competitions and things like that? So think about where they are and why they're there. Really, really important. Otherwise, our offers, our information, our content won't be calibrated to that platform, our avatar, and the reason they're there. Can't stress this strongly enough, because you can have the most amazing product in the whole world, the most amazing item, and put it in the wrong place. I used to talk to my business students about telephones. Yeah, okay. I think most people on this webinar have got, you know, a smartphone. But if I'm selling a phone that is for perhaps an older person with big numbers, big dial, and basically, I've always said this is a great business idea and no one has stolen this from me, and please do steal it. But the person who has makes a really good phone that looks like a traditional house phone, has big numbers on it, and is simply used for phoning. This is going to be really super friendly to older people. But marvelous as I think this would be, if I pop it on Instagram or on Facebook, or even I think in LinkedIn, certainly in Snapchat, it won't work because it won't reach the target audience. So I would have to think, where will that person be? And frankly, as I've indicated before, they're not going to be on social media. The person looking for a really chunky mobile phone that looks like something they're familiar with and easy to use, they're probably going to be reading newspapers, and that's how I would be able to reach them, or watching, if you're in the UK, you'll be familiar with the BBC, watching perhaps the BBC. So I would aim perhaps to get myself interviewed on a local radio station, even they might be listening to the radio. So I hope this makes sense. And we would think about why that person would be going to those areas. Okay, so focus on the user and why they are on a certain platform or communicating, buying in a certain place. Let's move on. So, place. Now, we also have to think about, do we need to get to our customer quickly? Is our product or service going to be out of date quickly? An easy example to look at is fresh or frozen food. Is there a long wait for the order? Not necessarily food, I heard today that laptops have a 2-month wait. So when you look at how quickly you need to get to your customer and how you're going to get to the customer, it may be that you are not selling directly to the consumer. Your product may be going through a wholesaler, maybe going through a retailer, or you may be connecting directly with the consumer. And sometimes it's not efficient to try and present and sell your product directly to your ideal customer. You may need to go through one of these. A very good example years ago, not so many years ago perhaps, but on Dragon's Den, a couple presented to the dragons. I think most people are familiar with dragons. It's called Shark Tank, I think, in the States. But the business idea was pitched to the investors, and the business idea was an amazing, it was something that you put on diving tanks. So for deep sea diving, it was a life-saving feature, and the dragons could absolutely see that this was amazing. So it was very much needed. But the advice, they didn't invest, but the advice they gave was go to the people who already sell the air tanks and sell your product to them, not direct to the customer, to the consumer. And there was a follow-up of this, and this couple who had invented, and you can go and search for this Dragon's Den episode, the couple who had invented the feature that would save lives and were desperate to save lives and get it in the hand of the consumer, once they went to the correct place, which is what we're talking about today, the correct place, and spoke to people who were already producing air tanks, we're not gesturing here, it went, they had a business that was up and running, and more importantly for them, they were saving lives. So it was an absolute hit when they put it in the right place. And I think that's a really good illustration. So if you're watching the replay, I know the people on the live and you've got it nailed, but if you're watching the replay and your products and services not doing too well, then just ask yourself, it may not be that I've got a bad product, I may not be putting it in the right place. And as we said at the beginning, the 4 Ps, product, place, price, promotion, all intertwine, and they're other things that we can add as well, but that's enough. Let's move on. So it speaks to direct or indirect channels. Now, could have a direct sales point. It could be a website, your own website. It might be on someone else's website. So again, we're thinking about the places. So if you have just written a book, are you trying to market yourself on Amazon? Have you contacted a bookseller? Have you where do people go to buy books? That's what we're asking ourselves. And where is it best placed for you? For example, those of us who run courses, it makes sense to have an affiliate program as well. So we might sell more courses through an affiliate program, partnering with people who perhaps have got a bigger range of courses, and our course will be complimentary, and we can reach our ideal customers by having an affiliate program with our colleagues. So think about this: direct sale point, website affiliate, and then lots of other things that you'll be able to think of. But again, just ask yourself, am I not being successful, or could I be more successful? Let's make it positive. Could I be more successful by adding other channels of sale or re-examining how I'm reaching my customer? Okay, guys, we are nearly there. Now, this is a mistake that I think we often see, and I've seen it amongst people that I know quite well, and the juxtaposition of products, and they're sending sort of a mixed message to their clients. Now, I tried to find products that would totally clash with each other. I was having a little bit of fun here. So bins, I actually couldn't put the bins next to the food. That would have been absolutely horrible. But I think you get the idea. Where a product sold will affect its image. So clearly we wouldn't be selling a car in a child's toy shop. And if you're on let's say you've joined a Facebook group or a LinkedIn group, and it's about food, if you suddenly introduced a conversation about recycling and you were focusing on bins and putting pictures of bins, it wouldn't sit. We need to consider how these things work together and come at things from a different angle. I hope this makes sense. I really have seen some terrible things next to each other. It may be that that you have 2 or 3 different businesses, but just don't put them all next to each other. They can be in conflict, both visually and also sending out a mixed message. And also, if you're selling and marketing your expertise, if you appear to have expertise in too many areas, which you may well have, and that's fantastic, but don't be a, let's look at this car, don't be a driving instructor and also a chef, and then also perhaps an affiliate marketer for children's toys. It's just, it's a muddled message, and then you will inevitably, if you're not careful, end up putting all these products in the same place. So keep them separate, keep them in the area that suits for them. I hope this makes sense. It's a little bit of a complex idea when we go into different layers, but basically, have you placed your product or service in a relevant area that is going to resonate with the people who are, if we're talking about online, looking? Okie dokie, let's go to the next one. Guys, please drop any questions or comments, anything you would like to add. I'll be happy to bring it into the webinar. Okay, finally, and I've gone through this quite efficiently today, so we've got time for questions, but this is really, really important. Email, and I'm trying to bring it into almost every webinar I do because so many of us are missing out on email. And I think a lot of people don't see it as a place of contact, a place where we sell, and a place where we literally place our product and services. So I say this every week. I'm always talking to myself. Have you got an email list? Because my email list is not up to date. Hands up to that. And we should all be sending out, well, we should have our clients and customers, and I like to call them interested people, on an email with their permission, of course. And are we contacting them regularly? Because they are in contact with us because they like what we do. They're interested in what we do. So we don't have any plumbers on here today on the live webinar, as far as I know. So if you're a plumber or an electrician, let's say, you've been out and helped someone, been to their home, you fix the pipes, you fix the electricity. Let's stick with plumbers. It's less confusing to have one thing. With their permission, you've got their email. Now, you wouldn't be sending them a daily email, because I don't frankly think that everybody wants to look at how to look after their plumbing, their radiators every day. But why not send them an email once a month with some little seasonal advice, an update, perhaps new products on the marketplace? And it's not necessarily that you're selling something to them each email, of course not, but you're keeping in touch with them, because in this example of plumbers and electricians, etc., when, or maybe someone who's selling, who's dealing with computer hardware, when they want, how did that move again? When they want, I think that's because someone's trying to phone me and it's coming through on the computer. So when they want that service again, they will remember you because you're sending an email. Now, for those of us who have services and physical products that are going out on a more regular basis, absolutely important to have an email contact for your clients, because if you are the person that follows up with the email and an email that gives value and gives content, I've got here 80-20 on the screen, give them value, give them general information, link them to blog posts. You don't have to go and create content. If you've got a group, and I know that some people watching here have their own group, just send a little email saying you might have missed, and then just put some hyperlinks to the most interesting content, or a quote from that someone has said, or if you've got a service, quote from your customer. XYZ was really happy this week to know that blah, blah, blah. This is of interest. Now, not everybody's going to open every email, of course, but if you use an autoresponder, such as Aweber's my favorite, there's MailChimp, there are quite a few, whichever suits your business, you will be able to send out regular emails, and you'll be able to create that important contact with your client and your prospective clients, your interested people. And the CTA I've got there means call to action. So 20%, so every so often, pop information in, because remember, people do want to buy from you. They know, like, and trust you. So that if you have a product or service that's going to help them, and put it in there. And sometimes it's absolutely enough just to have it in the PS. And the research, I'm reliably told from a very knowledgeable friend of mine, the research shows that what you pop in the PS, so it's not intrusive, it's you placing something in the PS, is often where most of the sales come from, which is interesting. So send an email, maybe 4 or 5 lines. It doesn't have to be long. And there's a whole art to emails, and perhaps I should have a webinar about emails as well. But it's a really good place to find your clients. And yes, okay, you're sending something out to them. They're not walking or moving across the internet or physically to that place, but it's very helpful. I believe I have got one more slide, so let's have a look. Okay, yeah. So this is just a reminder, if you're watching live or if you're on the replay, we have an amazing group with some wonderful people in there, and it's called the Online Entrepreneur Academy. Just search for it on Facebook. No need to necessarily copy this link, but you will find it, the Online Entrepreneur Academy. And we're in there every day discussing quite a few different things. And thank you very much to the members of the group, because instead of going wide, we're going deep into subjects. So it is a social hello, how are you, but it's also got some really great people in there. So apart from the content we put in there, there's some lovely interaction going on. So I am going to ask my live attendees, the people who've attended live, and thank you very much for spending your coffee break with me. If there are any questions or anything you would like to add, I'll be very happy to pop them in. And we have got roughly 5 minutes left. So let me know if there's anything that you would like to add or a question you would like to ask. And I'm just going to look in the Q&A. See, and we seem to be okay. Okay, guys, what I'm going to do, I'm going to stop the recording, but we're going to stay on so that we can talk to the people who... Okay, we've got a question coming in. Not quite a wrap yet. Curious about so I can't quite get the... I think the text came through before you'd finished the sentence. I am going to stop the recording